Oh, baby. It's not the Nick and Matt show. It's the Ben and Matt show today. For a little bit. Josh will be joining us. Nick is in transition of moving. Wild. Lots going on. I believe this is episode 228. Am I right or wrong? I'd have to pull up something here. Let's see. No, we didn't. No, it's still, it's not in the title. It is on the thumbnail. Hold on, I'm trying to click around a little bit here. It's Staggered Stance 2025 season. This is episode 228. I guessed it right. Cool. Staggered Stance is presented by TitanDiscGolf.com. Literally, it's the .com part. You can go Titan Disc Golf out in Iowa. That's cool. But everybody can participate in disc golf shopping at TitanDiscGolf.com. Nick won't be on the show tonight, but I just gave him, because he moved back up here and I never shipped out the hat, I just gave him the TitanDiscGolf.com hat on hole 16 at Pyramids. Dude, I say he's in transition of moving. I'll let him share maybe next week. His delivery, U-Haul, whatever. It's a moving service. I don't know the real deal, but they didn't show up with the stuff, and they're not going to show up till Thursday with it. So he has nothing except for not even disc golf shoes. He has his bag, but he was out in sneakers, anyways, muddy and all that. So I walked over. Yeah, I live nearby. So TitanDiscGolf.com, $35,000 disc selection. And I live right next to Marshall Street. But I'll tell you what, TitanDiscGolf.com, easy. They might not be as well known, and I always see, Ben, I don't know if you see this, Disc Golf Discussion, Facebook, and other places, hey, where's the best place to order online? All the time you'll see that kind of thing. And I'll see someone say TitanDiscGolf.com, I go give it a like for sure. Go support them. I have nothing against, obviously, any of these other big brands. But, man, we are here to put the light and everybody towards TitanDiscGolf.com. So check them out. We really appreciate what they do for us. I'm going to go ahead and bring Josh in if he's ready. We'll go 3 up here. Boom. So Josh is now joined us.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you, and hopefully you can hear me. Literally sat down 10 seconds ago and fired everything up. So it's a live test.
It's a live test. That's like a guest. Yeah, I don't know. It's let me see, Josh. Talk a little bit.
I can check.
Yeah, it's fine on this side. It's a little quiet though, Ben. You're right. But that's just in our call. Okay. Don't change it, Josh.
Hey everybody. Yeah, no, hi, welcome. Thank you.
Welcome. Josh has been busy. We're all
if I look dressed up, I started at 6 a.m. and got home 30 seconds ago. So here I am.
Okay, Ben's back in Massachusetts, Leicester, Massachusetts. You travel in the RV, my friend? That's awesome.
You had me muted?
I had a good conversation with you, Ben. I'm sure I talked more for both of us anyways, so the little bits you chimed in, I'll just have to edit in later. When I'm talking, I'll just be like, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. I'll just do a voiceover for you.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, in the RV, I was living in the RV for a month and Hooligan Discs warehouse. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's super fun. It's in New Jersey for a guy called Patchworks because I'm getting solar on it so I can be anywhere in the world and not have to be hooked up to electricity. So I'm very excited about that.
So anywhere in the world, how do you get your RV to Australia?
Ship it.
Okay.
I gotta ship it on a freight train. On the freight train. Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be
on
a
the freight
boat.
Train.
Man, we've got a lot to do tonight. In addition to great interviews, I'm sure. Even before we get to it, Ella Hansen, big win. I was looking at her ratings and what she was able to do at Supreme Flight Open. It's not her best performances ever, but it was exciting. Way to kick it off. We got her lined up. She was at a basketball event last week. kind of an off week this week. And then MACIE VELEDIAZ, great performance last week. We're going to have her on tonight. So you're going to hear from 2 FPO competitors. And we're going to hear from a Hall of Famer, Jay Yeti Reading, what's going on with educational disc golf. I think he'll probably tie it in a little bit to what he did at the expos and all that stuff too. So we're excited to hear from him. That'll be later on. So you're getting 3 interviews tonight. Josh, Ben, work and travel, and then you have a time change. Do you like this time change? Disc golfers often do.
It.
Yeah, Ben, you said you love it.
I said I love it, but I don't like. They should abolish daylight.
Yeah, Ben, what do you got?
They should abolish daylight savings time. It doesn't make sense. Why? Like it's because Ben Franklin was up at 3 a.m. and going to bed at 6 p.m. Like it's just not applicable to. I don't know if that's the real reason, but
okay.
I have to give that caveat.
We gotta,
but
I'm gonna. This is not the whole topic, right? But I'm gonna push back just a tiny bit.
No,
I think
Josh.
I agree with you, Ben. No. Listen,
Okay.
I think I agree with you, but you said abolish daylight savings time. I want to embrace daylight savings time year round. So are you actually saying abolish it? Because I like.
He means get rid of the time change.
I want it to be light.
Right. Like I want this to be the time.
But you said daylight savings time. That's not.
Well,
okay,
Josh,
which is daylight savings time.
You're getting abolished because your network connection is so delayed right now that we keep trying to hear you talk, and then you're cutting us off, but we're cutting you off, and it's stuttery. Yeah, so right now even I don't know if you want to try some type of refresh rejoin, but
I can.
Even though President Donald Trump was asked that question, should we abolish? Can we move past it? I saw some internet clip somewhere, and he said, and whether you care or not, I thought it was funny. He's like, it's hard to get excited about changing something that is 50-50, as in 50% of people like waking up with sun in the morning and 50% would rather have light at the end of the day. I think if you ask disc golfers, most of them are going to want that. So in the chat, what do you want? More light at the end of the evening or more light in the morning? I would say it's harder to get up when it's dark, but
I had to go. By the way, if you want me to reset, I'll drop all the way out. But I had to run with a flashlight this morning. It was so dark.
You got to get a headlamp.
I have all the lamps, but
all right. You seem like your connection's good. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Okay. So the time change happened, and on top of that, Ben, you weren't here for it. I don't know if you would have done it anyways. But there's a tournament up here called Tournament 54.
Yes.
And you play 3 rounds in one day for one tournament round. Or for one tournament. I had signed up for that months, whatever it was, 6-7 weeks ago. And I also play something called Team Challenge up here, right? I've talked about it plenty. The course that I play for, my home course, is a very large course. It's pretty much... It's at least Silver Series championship level. Right, Ben? You would agree with that? It's at least silver, that level of championship course.
The course, yes. Buffalo, yes. Yeah.
So it's big. So I did 2 rounds there, and I posted on my social media on Saturday, but it was no joke, 40-mile-an-hour winds. That was when you watched Glass Blown Open back in the day. You kind of laugh because people are putting with drivers and things would just unusually happen. That was me for 2 rounds, which is just wild and hard. We won. That's great. But then I had to wake up at 5:30 a.m. on the night of the time change. So really my brain's it's 4:30 a.m. And that was after 2 rounds at Buffinville. And then drive to the course. Literally, it's in the dark. I've never done this before. I'm at the course in the dark, walking to the hole in pitch black. And they're like, we're starting literally at the sunrise. So I'm trying to get warmed up in the dark in the woods. It's real. It was wild. And one of my buddies, shout out, he didn't make it through 54 holes. He had to drop out. But when I saw him at whatever time it was, 6 a.m. in the morning, he rolls down his window. It's cold. It's freezing. It's 25 degrees out. And he goes, and he played Team Challenge too. He goes, I think I might have made a mistake. That is what he said to me.
So funny.
Shout out Stephen Durning. And I was like, dude, I'm feeling it too. And then 54 holes later on yesterday, literally every hole in the like for the last 9 holes was just getting worse and worse and worse. And like I'm beyond sick of windy putts. I'll just leave it at that. Good day, good fun. The tournament's great, but I'll never do 5 rounds like that tournament, big competitive rounds again, back to back. All right, moving on from that. Let's go right into it, guys. Let's get right into pop, drop, lock. I don't know if Josh got his in, but he can give it to us live if he did.
Yeah. Nope, they're in there.
Ben, we will allow you to say them out loud, but
Let me, Josh, you talk. Let me get these picks in.
all right, I will go first. Josh, are you ready as well, or?
Yeah. Mine
Okay.
are loaded.
All right,
Locked
Josh is
and
ready.
loaded.
So we'll just throw it over to Josh. I've been talking a bit here. Here we go. Josh, I'm pulling your picks up. What do you got?
All right. So again, this is kind of I did give a lot of thought to the picks. I feel like I'm like winging it on the show because I just came in and here they are. You ready? My pop, Adam Hammes. So I forget his current average, but it might be 30th. And look, he had a good weekend last weekend, and he's played Waco well. So that's my pop. Drop, Matty O. Like, that guy's Mr. Consistent, but last week actually wasn't. And so, you're always kind of gambling on the drop, right? Like, he could literally come right back to his average, but that's it. And then my lock, Paul McBeth. He looked great last weekend. Stumbled a little bit, recovered, and he has 2 wins at Waco, and historically he's played well. So it's just, there you go. And I'm guessing Nick's going to pick that as well, but we'll see. On the FPO side, Ben, I picked Madison Walker. I just couldn't overlook. Now, at some point, like it feels like Madison's a real player who's earning real points, but it almost feels like a meme pick, right? Like for the sake of it. But until that average catches up. No, well, right. But at some point, the average, like that's the way numbers work. But anyway, and then drop Henna Blomroos just looked rough last week. Maybe that's an anomaly. And then my lock, Kristen. This is it. Premier. And by the way, not only is she a great player, but she's always played really well at Waco. I think, was she the last couple wins there maybe? So there you go. So a little bit of rationale to it, and hopefully I'll nail it.
That's for Waco. We didn't quite start it off that way, and you kind of mentioned it, but Waco. So this year, for everybody that is making picks, remember, they're only playing the Beast. They aren't going over to that makeshift course on the golf course or a portion of. They're not doing it. It's all straight up Beast, which is
no Lake Waco.
Right, Waco, Lake Waco, Laco. That does make a difference, at least to me in my picks when I was considering it, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like a Macbeth, I would be confident in lots of cases, but even better when he's just at that course only.
True.
As an example.
All right, let's pull up Nick's. He's not here, but I can see him on screen. He's got Andrew Fish popping off.
Ooh, okay.
That's probably playing, as we all are, the numbers game. And it's a course that Nick knows Nick can play well. So he's picking someone he knows that may not be a smash, par thrower to do well. All right. Gannon Burr to drop. Now that one is interesting.
Whoa.
I know. What
you would have to think that he believes Gannon Burr is going to drop out of the top 10 again. You wouldn't pick that unless you thought he was going to drop that far. And what is his? He is fourth.
I don't have the number in front of me.
Yeah, he's averaging 4th. So I mean, you would have to think he's going to be outside like the top 15 to want to make that pick.
And he just won this last weekend, right? At not the Pro Tour, but Go Throw. I mean, so
playbook.
Right, but I mean, and the competition's different, and it's 2 rounds, but still he's playing well. So wow, all right, Nick, we'll see. And you could make big points.
I don't think Nick spent a lot of time thinking about it. I was talking to him half hour before, and he was in a league round. So, all right.
Did he think he was like? Remember, was it Gannon 2 weeks ago? It was like my body's not right.
Yeah, I ended up getting some feedback from Gannon on that, by the way. But what's interesting is Gannon's out there playing. He said, my shoulder got sore. That was what he was alluding to. And he said, this was interesting. I bruised the tip of my pointer finger on. And then he said, which would be a pain, wouldn't it? Bruise the tip of your, like the one you like grip with. And then the hole one of the final round. And now who knows why his neck got he called it flared up. so he could barely turn his head. He's obviously playing. Who knows? Maybe he's playing with some ailments, but he won. Okay. So Nick's pop for FPO Hannah Wynn actually had a decent performance at, again, the Go Throw Tour. We'll talk a little bit about that. Not bad for a pop pick. You're kind of rolling the dice a little bit. Evelina Salonen to drop. He's picking another top 10 player to drop. Now, I will say FPO. Would you agree, Josh, Ben? It's a harder one to pick. Like, you don't have as much room.
Yeah, definitely not as much room. It's very tight.
So, I mean, yeah, okay. And then a lock, Holland Handley. So he took my play from last week or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, and Holland Handley all in. Okay, good. Ben, did you get yours in yet?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go to me, and we'll go to you after that. So this is a fun one. I'm so stoked to pick it. A little anxious, but Greg Barsby to pop at Waco.
I like that.
Dude can take it down. Now, he's averaging way higher than you might even think, though. He's averaging 27th, like, and Pro Tour finishes. That's
wow. Greg.
That's better than a lot of players, like James Conrad. You could go down the list. I mean, he's averaging really good. So it's a little bit of like a weird one where I'm actually thinking he could technically get top 10 pretty. That's what I'm hoping for, Greg Barsby. Eric Oakley to drop. Now, that's another one where I kind of was like swinging on the fence a little bit because I'm like, he's already kind of far down on the average list. He averages 62nd. There's only 100 people here. I feel like, and this is just an honest take. He's working on it, but he has a harder time with his mental game and his abilities. I think when he starts getting those tight hallway shots at Waco, all that stuff, you start kicking in, you feel like it's a little unfair sometimes. And then I don't know. We'll see. He's had struggle there in the past. And then lock, Calvin Heimberg. Yes, you heard it. Calvin Heimberg for the lock. I don't know if he'll win it, but I wasn't as convinced on who would win it as I was who's going to get a top, 10, top 5. So there you go. And then my pop, another old timer, if you will. No shade at Jess Weiss for being old, but like in the tour scene for a long time. I would say maybe 20 years. I don't know how long she's been doing it. But there's my pop. So I have Greg Barsby and Jess Weiss as my pop. And why did I pick Jessica Weiss? If I can convince other people to pick her, it's because she played well here in the past. She has a good forehand, and I think she's pretty controlled with her shots. That's what you need. Drop Lisa Fakis. For the exact same reason I just said Jess Weiss is going to do good. I think Lisa could also, but I feel like coming out of last season, Lisa was ranked too high in our average finishes. The numbers don't lie, but I think that's what I saw. So we'll go with her to drop. And then lock. This is a tip of the hat to Kristen. And I'm going with Kristen as well, Josh. Welcome back to the tour. Let's hope that's what happened. Again, I'm not convinced she's going to win. I'm not convinced, but I'm most convinced that she's going to be the closest to the top. So there you go for points. I think it could be any three or four women now. Own, Ella. I mean, I wouldn't even put it past Kat Merch.
Holland.
Yeah, and Holland. So, I mean, there's really...
And Missy.
Yeah, Missy too. But I was, I don't know. We haven't seen Missy show up this season yet. So we'll see. And I haven't seen Kristen yet. But again, I just feel like, man, she's going to be the most consistent.
I have not been on social media because I've been focused on a paying job. Any update on Kristen making it to the States? Did you see she had a post saying that she had some concerns about paperwork?
It's very possible she doesn't make it.
Ooh, then my pick's bad, but all right.
Yeah, but it's not a risky pick, though, because you get 0 points if she drops out.
Yeah, not risky, but I guess. Anyway, hopefully she makes it. Like I said, maybe there's some update and someone knows, and I'm not being a good journalist, but I have not heard. But I did see that she was like, the paperwork after name change isn't exactly the way she expected it to, so she hopes she makes it through. See?
Yeah, we might see a post in the next day or two. If that's the case, I don't know if we always agreed. We agreed, right? If someone drops from the event prior to, you're allowed to repick. So, Josh, we will be okay unless she drops.
All right.
Unless she drops right ass.
Yes.
Okay, let's move over to Ben. And then we're going to get to an interview here in just a minute.
Nice.
All right, Ben, your picks are up. Go ahead, Ben. You're frozen in time.
I know. So Pop GT Hancock, he's a local there. Won a good amount of events last year, a few Q series events. So I'm betting on him to do well there. Dropping Yakub Samarad, he's averaging 22nd. So I don't know. We're just kind of just thrown together. I did not prepare for this. I've just literally got back
and
yesterday.
Somehow you're gonna get like 800 points, and I'm gonna be like, how did he do
hopefully.
that?
And then Lock going with my boy Gannon. Pop going Taylor Chosick again.
D1 athlete. Yeah.
Yep. On the same wavelength. And then dropping Henna Blomroos, even though I have a bet on her, she did not do well last week. And locking Kristen Lattar.
Good picks, Ben, for a last minute like that. Not to always go back to this Taylor Chosick or however you want to say it. I'll have to get that right some point. But
we're gonna get her on probably.
If you actually do a little bit of investigation into rating, and some people don't like it, but rating and performance and finishes, I don't know that you'd be picking her to pop. I think she is who she is right now. I don't know. I think we're going to see this is my take, without talking to her or seeing her throw in. Well, I might have seen her throw in person once. I think she's going to take this like upward trajectory on a normal growth. Like it's not going to be like pop off. Like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see popping off. That's just my take. But anyway, she might get you a
here's the thing that I need. I just need her to pop off every once in a while and then get 45th again, so she keeps that average. That's what Madison Walker always did. She popped off, then went back to her average, and I was okay with it because, she never lost me points.
Well, if you pop off and then go back to the average, your average goes up. You'd have to have them pop off and then go negative when you didn't pick them or something. But
I know, but somehow I feel like Madison Walker was like 35th average the whole year somehow.
Yeah, we got to talk to our developer on that. Maybe the math's messed up, but anyway.
All right. So that's Pop Drop Lock. We didn't say it in the beginning, but we have it on visual for all of our viewers. Hooligan Discs presents this segment, Pop Drop Lock. We love the partnership we have with Hooligan. They make it easy. When a winner wins, they get shipped Hooligan. I'll say swag, but it includes disc products.
Could be anything.
It could be anything. Ben was just spending time. Ben, before we get right into this interview, which is literally in just a minute, you were in Hooligan's barn with Gannon. Yes. Is that where you were when that viral clip with Gannon saying, "Look how crazy Ben was throwing this disc into the chain link"?
Yes, that's in the Hooligan Disc warehouse.
Yeah, and last week we heard him honk the horn in the background. Did you see that? Literally, he goes live in the chat. He goes, "You want to hear like?
Do you want to hear me honk the horn?"
And then I literally hear
confused.
A horn honk in the background.
That was
I didn't see the chat.
Awesome.
That's like full 4D like audio like listening.
All right, Ella, can you hear us? You're in the green room. Get me. Oh, yep. Okay, good. I heard some audio there. Perfect. We're going to bring this in with a few clicks of a button like this. I think I can do it right. Let's go. Boom. Here we go. There's always so many buttons to press, but I think I've done it. I think I haven't left you on mute like I did to Ben earlier. Welcome to the show, Ella.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Last time I was talking to you, you were in studio hanging out. That was a good time.
That was fun. Good candy.
Oh, were you eating the sour gummy worms?
Oh yeah.
I just finished off one of those like 5-pound bags, and I'm just about to open another. I love those.
Good. Gotta keep it on hand all the time.
Awesome. I think when Gannon and Cole and the other guys were in studio once, they were just mouthfuls. They just were going down in studio too. So.
Oh yeah.
So Ella, I don't know why, but I feel always so casual chatting with you. You're super chill and awesome to chat with. We're glad to have you on. You had I don't want to overstate it and say a massive performance, because I looked at some of your rating stuff and you've done better in the past. But how was that like? I mean, break it down for us a little bit, because I gave my take and said there was not a better way for the FPO tour to start off than that. So you were a part of that. Tell us how you felt about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty exciting for me, obviously for people watching. I played All Stars, or I played in New Zealand earlier this year, and kind of like it felt good to start, but it was good competition there, but not tour competition, you know. And then yeah, I played All Stars. I felt really good. I was putting amazing. First round of the actual tournament, putted like crap. Um, didn't feel good until I made a putt on 18 for eagle that round, and that was my first time being under par the whole tournament. And then settled in a little day 2, and then day 3, yeah, started off slowly, but I kind of knew that I wasn't like super out of it. It's like 4 or 5 strokes towards the beginning of the round, and you know, I know that that course is so tough. There's a lot of places you can make mistakes, and just was trying to stay in it. I kind of had a feeling that, like, you know, if I was close on 18, I'd have a chance.
Well, you were close on 18, but you got to walk us through hole 18, I guess, from your perspective, because we see it from ours. I'm interested in yours, literally kind of the play-by-play, if you don't mind, because that was literally. Did you see Simon's vlog comment on that? Like his vlog? Okay, no. You got to go find the vlog. It was like he's doing an everyday vlog thing now, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I think someone's producing it for him, but he was watching FPO while he had breakfast, and you're going to have to watch it. And he's like, I'm going to be late to my tee time because this is insane. This is insane. And then I think he started feeling sick watching it. So he just like left. He went to the course, but so break it down hole by hole. I mean, play by play, if you don't mind. You went into it.
Yeah.
Were you down? I don't even remember now. What was the scenario going into 18 final round?
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 holes were wild, like just so many swings on 16, 17, that Holland bogeyed 17, and then me and Evelina birdied. And so suddenly Evelina was one back. I think I was like trying not to check the scores too obsessively, but I like saw, I saw that me and Holland were tied, and it took me until like after my tee shot to kind of realize like, oh, Evelina's still in this. But yeah, I like had been throwing that shot really good, throwing a Horizon Cloudbreaker forehand off the tee. Just trying to keep it low and let it be stable and glide over to the right. I did clip like a tiny branch on the left off my tee shot in regulation.
Oh.
And so I ended up a little shorter than I had been the first 2 rounds. I had eagled it the first 2 rounds. So I disked up, and obviously it went out of bounds. I disked up, and I think I was just a little too worried I was going to throw it too low, like flex it, never give it the glide.
So step back to before that. So you threw your who threw first on that hole?
I threw first, I think.
I think you did.
I think I threw first.
I'm playing it back,
sure,
and I think you did.
Yeah,
I
definitely did. Definitely
okay.
did.
So then, I don't remember the order exactly, but Holland throws OB. You knew that?
Yeah.
You knew that. Yeah, I think she threw last, if I'm not mistaken, because you said the birdies on 17. Right.
Yeah.
So she just walks off. You guys are friendly on tour. Probably consider yourselves friends, but she just walks off.
Yeah.
You know she's in the game, and she's probably really bothered with what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, you're like, I'm in bounds. She's OB. Like, is that playing through your head?
Oh, absolutely. Like I knew I was in the driver's seat. Honestly, Holland like kind of missed through a forehand on hole 12, which is a very similar tee shot if you're throwing the forehand. And at that was the moment when I kind of was like, if I'm close with Holland going into 18, like I know she's feeling nervous about that tee shot, you know? And I was feeling really, really good about my forehands. So yeah, I knew it. I saw that she went out of bounds, but I knew that it wasn't like over, you know, obviously I had to execute. But I think that putting myself I was probably like 50 feet shorter than I had been the other 2 days. And so that is why I disked up. I was throwing a flippy PD forehand the first 2 days, and that's what I ended up throwing in the playoffs too for that approach shot. And I disked up to a flippy DD3, and it just like, I don't know, too much glide, too much nose up, just like didn't quite get there. But I knew, yeah, I mean, Evelina threw that shot, perfect shot. I could tell that she parked it. And that was kind of when I was like, oh shoot, like Evelina's still in this. I knew I had a stroke on her, and then I was like, oh man, like if she makes that putt, like it could be a 3-way playoff. Yeah, and then I just knew I knew I had to execute. I knew I had to be able to get up and down. And honestly, I hadn't really, maybe I practiced it once or twice, but I hadn't been doing that in the tournament. So I knew that I had to just like be confident with what I was doing and make a decision and try to execute it well.
So you did that. What was the conversation with yourself or others? I don't remember if you had a caddy or someone you were talking to, but walking to that approach to the green, the one you're talking about where you disked up,
right?
You knew Holland was OB. Are you thinking to yourself at all, like, I'm going to count on other people making mistakes. Was there any layup play there? Like, or would it have been a dumb layup? Like, you know what I mean? Like, was it an option at all?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, I knew that I was in a position that I could easily execute. Like I said, I was really confident with my forehands. And I think just like, I was like, I'm going to throw a flippy. And I think the combination of just the uphill, like, just didn't quite hit it. I was really close. I was really close to crossing. It was like, when I got up there, it was like, a foot or something out of bounds. Like, it was not a horrible shot. It wasn't a good shot, obviously. But yeah, I think that the decision-making for me was always to go for the eagle.
Well, it played out to where you all ended up coming in with the same score, which when you watched how that hole unfolded, it was a very, I don't know if shocking is the right word, but exciting. We'll go with exciting. And like I said, for the Pro Tour's sake, for the players' sake, for your fans' sake, everybody, whether they're having heart attacks or thrill of excitement, it was just epic all around. You guys get in the golf cart with our buddy Nick Carl, who's not here tonight. He drives you back up to hole 18. What do you think about that? I think in your scenario, you're probably going to say you like hole 18 on repeat. But in general, what do you think? You were happy with that, of course.
For sure. Yeah, I think that I started to think about it, like, as we're walking up to the green, I was like, it might be a playoff. I don't know what the playoff hole is, or holes. I kind of was thinking it would be hole 1. I was like, it's either going to be 1 or 18. And I think that the fact that it was 18 definitely gave me more of an advantage. I think that I had seen like Evelina and Holland throw pretty well on hole 1 all the other days, or like had thrown a good shot, and I just felt like I had not thrown a good shot at all on that hole. And I know I'm capable of it. I knew that I'm not saying I couldn't have birdied hole 1, but just that like I kind of said earlier, like, Evelina went OB off the tee on 18 in regulation. Holland wasn't looking so confident in her forehand, and so I think that kind of made it easier for me to have confidence going to the playoff.
Well, it happened, and you came through with another eagle and took it down. I think I've asked Holland this in the past. I might have asked you. As much as you're friendly with somebody, or again, friends, there's this element of tell us about that, because there's this blend of support, obviously a mixture. Just like tell us about that, because you have all these different feelings, and of course you're happy and they're happy for you. But like, how does that play out for you in that moment? Like, yeah, Holland, I just took, that's really not part of it probably, but like maybe it is. Tell us how that works.
Yeah, I mean, I try to always be supportive of whoever I'm playing with on the card, especially if they're throwing good shots. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I know Holland does too. I mean, on hole 16, I had thrown a really good tee shot and was trying to get the birdie, and Holland thought I threw a really good forehand up shot, and she was like, yeah, like I could hear her say that. And it ended up like flipping a little too much, and I didn't get the birdie, but she kind of like didn't apologize, but she, we talked after, and she was like, oh yeah, I really thought you had thrown it good. I was like stoked for you. And yeah, I mean, I think that like Holland is one of my best friends on tour, and so I'm always rooting for her, and I'm super super chummy with Evelina as well, and so it was a fun group to play with. We were also the podium at that tournament last year, and so we were kind of running it back a little bit, and yeah, I mean, I know Holland wants to win. She is one of the most competitive disc golfers I've ever met. And so you know, we're still chatty. I don't know. You could see on the broadcast we were waiting for the green to clear, and we were like joking about you know, just doing a wrestling battle instead of finishing out the playoff.
Yes. Could the ratings get any better for viewing?
Real.
Let's wrestle. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, we saw
we're
a Cat Merge doing headstands on the green. I don't know if you saw that. So those things happen apparently.
Yeah.
By the way, Ben's still here, but Josh dropped out. Ben, if you have any questions, cut me off. I have a few more, and then we'll see.
No, keep on. You're the interviewer, man.
I'm the interviewer. Okay, appreciate that. So is there, just kind of moving on from that a little bit, but one more question with it. Like, is there ever like a, hey, I'm sorry, like you didn't win, or I'm sorry I beat you, or like, or is it just like we don't really talk about it? We're just supportive of each other.
I wouldn't say it's like that explicit. I mean, we went and had lunch after together.
Okay.
You know, like we're still hanging.
What is that like? What is that like going out to lunch after that? Like, what's the feeling like?
I don't know. I was really hungry. That's what I was feeling. No, I mean, honestly, like, I think, yeah, it's interesting going to lunch after we battled. I think that we both kind of know that, you know, we're competitive. We're competitive with each other. We're here to play. But we are friends, and so I mean, I enjoyed the lunch. I hope Holland did too. But you know, I know that I'm going to lunch with her for sure if she beats me in a playoff. You know, so that's just kind of the vibe.
I think if I was in a situation of competitive like that, I think I'd be at lunch going, man, I can't believe I let you beat me. I'd just probably keep repeating that. Like, I just can't believe it.
I felt like that was a little bit of the vibe from Holland.
Okay.
I mean,
she's just like,
Holland's
I can't.
boyfriend, Tyler, like, Holland went to the bathroom and Tyler was like, you know, I kind of counted you out. Sorry. I thought you didn't have a chance. So, you know, we're pretty honest with each other.
Good. And so I'll be honest with you. I didn't pick you to win. I had picked Holland to win. And I was like all wrapped up in my picks were so good this week. Like, she's going to win it. And I'm going to be honest, watching you trail, like you said, 4 or 5 strokes kind of through the tournament. I was going, I didn't see you chiseling away that whole time. Not that I didn't think you could. I just didn't see it happening. But a lot came together just right. Obviously, it all came together. You were the most consistent over 3 rounds to get it done. So congratulations on that win. I did look, like I said, at your rating. I think they were saying, hey, that's the highest rating, of course, I want to say of this year. And it might be in the recent past, but I think you had like 1,030 something in there somewhere. Let me see here.
Yeah, I had a really good round at
1,035 Waco
last year.
Yeah, round 2 Waco.
And then I think last year at Olympus was like me, Holland, and Evelina's highest rated tournaments ever. So like that was crazy that last year I shot my highest rated tournament ever, did not win. Same with Holland. So you know, it's cool to be pushing at the forefront of the sport and trying to keep playing better every week.
Yeah, you have a lot of 1,000 rated rounds within the last year. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 15 or 16. And so, yeah, last year at Waco. So we're coming into Waco.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get to the Waco conversation, because we're going to get there, my brother Josh's internet has rejoined, and I know he said he had a few questions. So let's jump over to Josh, and then we'll kind of bring it full circle here. Throwing it to Josh.
All right. Hey, Ella. Congrats on the win, and hopefully my internet works the way it should. So I am curious, because we hear this from a lot of players, and I think you said this. I've caught most of the interview except when I disconnected. That coming down the stretch, you were trying not to watch scores closely, and I think you saw some, right, especially in the last few holes. But like, so in general, first of all, the first half of my question is the reason you don't pay attention to scores that closely because it disrupts your mental game, or is there some other reason why you may not watch it that closely?
Yeah, it definitely can affect the mental game a little bit. I think that, you know, sometimes it just throws me off from like, I need to get a birdie instead of I need to execute this tee shot or whatever. And so I think a lot of my like growth mentally in the sport has come from trying to focus on the small picture, whether that's just thinking about throwing a good shot or like really getting, excuse me, down to the nitty gritty of like, okay, I'm just hitting this angle, I'm aiming here, and whatever happens to the disc after that is not in my hands, literally.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of like the mindset I'm trying to see. And I think that, you know, I thought about it when we're waiting on hole 18, kind of just like, okay, if I know I have a chance going into 18, do I want to look at scores before I tee off? And I was kind of just like, honestly, I'm not going to change my game plan off the tee at all, no matter what. And so it didn't make sense. I was like, I'll check maybe once I'm down there. But yeah, going into teeing off, I didn't feel like I wanted to.
So that's interesting. And I've asked other pros, and what you said makes sense there, especially when you talked about focusing. I think you said like the small aspects, kind of maybe a chunk or a throw at a time. But what always intrigues me is you contrast that with the difference in the playoffs. You essentially have to know the score because you're in a playoff and you're tied. So do you approach it different mentally? Like I'm just like, because now you have no choice. You know you're tied. Do you, is that a struggle? Is that a challenge of trying to address that when the rest of the round, maybe you're not trying to do that?
Well, that was my first playoff ever. So
yeah, and you're 1 for 1. So
right. So
but I'm curious, how you approach that mentally.
Yeah, I think that because I really had confidence in what I was throwing off the tee, and I had confidence that if I executed my shots, I could get an eagle really easily. And so that was really just what I was focusing on, executing each shot. I think, you know, I knew I was in there. I know I was obviously competing, and I ended up teeing off first on the first playoff. And I think that was helpful for me to just be like, I'm just going to do it. It doesn't matter. I don't need to think about what my opponents are doing. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's in the front of my mind, and I'm very aware of that, was very aware of that in the playoff, but really just trying to quiet the mind and focus on the shot and executing the shot the way I wanted to.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Well, again, congrats on executing that. Maybe just the last thing is I kind of transition back to Matt is we often talk about getting a win is a really important experience and sometimes is a breakthrough. It's kind of the concept of like learning to win, right? So I think you have 4 second places on tour, if I'm looking at my math right, and you have 2 wins now. So do you feel like getting that win, I don't know if momentum's the right word, but like you've now done it twice. Do you feel like you know how to win? And are you expecting to do that more from here on out, at least again, mentally?
Yeah, I think definitely mentally it feels easier. It feels more within reach. That was like my first win. I won by like 7 or 8 strokes. So it wasn't really like I was battling obviously through the whole tournament, but down the stretch, the pressure wasn't quite there in the same way. So this one feels like, yeah, I battled, I won in a playoff. I like, you know, climbed back from being not playing as well in order to win. And so that feels good mentally. And yeah, it sets me up really great, especially for this season. I mean, last year I won in May and then kind of didn't have as good of a season after that as I was hoping. And so feels good to like start the season off well. And like, it's like, okay, yeah, you actually aren't just a one-hit wonder. You know, you're not just going to win one tournament and then walk off and never win again. So that felt really good.
That's awesome. Well, you've been a guest on this show multiple times, 3 or 4 times, I believe, maybe even more than that. But the last time we had you on was May. So you got to win, and now you're back again. So again, really congrats on that. Great start to the season. I'm sure we'll all be watching, and probably some of us will be picking you to win throughout the year. So that's awesome.
Hopefully. Thanks, guys.
Hopefully. So moving to Waco, as I just said, last year you had your highest rated round ever. Tell us before we let you go. That was at Laco. Okay, yes. So how do you feel about it going straight to Beast 3 rounds in a row? I think you've done well there in the past, right? Was that where
I think she finished second?
Yeah, second place
in 2023.
So tell us what's going to go right about the Beast for you these 3 rounds, because you perform well. What is it about there that you think you're going to be able to do well?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of options to or opportunity to throw well in the wind. There's also opportunity to throw poorly in the wind, obviously. But I think that's something that I have an advantage in my power and my ability to throw forehand and backhand. I think that it's just a fun mental challenge to start in the open, go into the woods, come back to the open. And it's just a fun course. Like that's a course that I have fun on. It is very scoreable. Good vibes out there. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, like 2 years ago, I was about to win, and then I threw it away, and Kristen won, and she played really well. But I also threw it away a little bit, and so I know that I can win out there. I'm fine to not play the Lake Waco course. Like it was a cool opportunity, but I think that Waco the Beast is the course. You know, it's great to play.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you're right. Forehand comes in important there. Backhand comes in important there. You say throwing in the wind. That happens as well in Texas, and that's where you guys are right now. Speaking of that, have you made the trip there? Are you there this week or?
I'll be there tomorrow. My flight leaves early in the morning. I'm at home right now, but last time at home, I'm heading out for the swing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome job. Obviously, congratulations. We love having you on anytime, but especially after something big like that, so we can say congrats to everybody listening and viewing. That's fans of us, fans of you. Anything that we should know about that you're not telling people yet, but you're going to tell them tomorrow morning that this will release tonight? And nothing new?
I don't think so. I mean,
okay.
For you, I got a 3D printer this off season, and I was doing some good stuff, having a lot of fun. So
do you talk back and forth with Big Germ on tour? Do you guys collab
a little bit? Yeah,
okay,
yeah. And then Holland's boyfriend Tyler also does a lot of 3D printing. So
I 3D printed this rocket. Oh, it's the green screen for no reason, just because I could design it. It's like all the time stuff's getting printed. Like
oh yeah.
Just
I've been building stuff for my van, which is like so nice. I love it. I can customize everything perfectly. It's great.
Okay, yeah. So exactly, like it's just okay. So we share that hobby. If we ever talk, not disc golf, maybe I should start a 3D printing podcast. We can just do that.
Yeah, that would be
crossover with disc golf. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about 3D printing some discs. I know some manufacturers giving me some designs, and I can print in some TPU plastic. And anyways, all right, we're off track. But you're gonna do well at Waco. We're excited to watch, and we'll catch you out there. Appreciate you joining tonight.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, peace out. Okay, everybody, that was Ella Hansen. We've also got in the green room. We're just about to bring her in. Macie, can you hear us okay? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Yes, I can. And it's funny because I always talk to a green room because I would rather talk to a green room and us here than like welcome somebody to the show and then we can't hear and talk to them. So let me go ahead and bring into the show back to back, just like that. Boom. Gonna get this right here. A lot of buttons being pressed. What's up, Macie? Welcome to the Staggered Stance. Long time watcher of you.
Are you sure you can hear me?
I can hear you great.
My headphones weren't working. I don't know why.
That's okay. So it's interesting. Sometimes we find that causes trouble. Sometimes it's perfect. So do not know why, but we can hear you great. So there's a lot to unpack here. Is it right to say a new mother? I mean, are we still in that stage? Okay, so congratulations on that. I would love to know a little bit of the story before we get into your performance at Supreme Flight Open, a little bit of the story of transitioning into this new, I guess, role. You're going to be a mom and your decisions about disc golf, the break, and then coming back. Like, just give us a little bit of that. How did that unfold and obviously you're back now, but how did you get to this point again?
Yeah, well, we always knew that we were going to have kids, me and Jamie. We always planned on just taking them on the road with us, and that's kind of just happened this way. And we find it that it's actually, I think I like it better than it was before. I know now that I have a baby, I can say that, but she just like, if I get done with my round, I can just go see her if I play good or bad, or like, she doesn't care if I play good or bad. So like, we've always talked about doing that. And then, I don't know, that's kind of always been the plan. Have kids, take them on the road with us. So
Well, then you're succeeding with your plan. Remind me how it went down where you didn't get re-upped with dynamic discs. Then you went in and you had what's the name of your daughter?
Layla.
Layla. A beautiful name. And then you had Layla. And how old is Layla now?
9 months on Wednesday.
Okay.
Crazy.
Crazy. And I have a 15-year-old last week, which is crazy to me. Like, it's all different stages, but yeah, so enjoy it all. It's awesome. But so then you have Layla, and now you are back with dynamic, and this is fantastic to see, you know, representing and playing at a high level. How did that come to be? Did you decide to take a break? Did they have conversations about that? And then coming back, what was that like?
Yeah, so like the real reason I think that I left with them in the first place was just a lot of miscommunication. I think if we like I was going through a lot at the time, you know, they were going through a lot. So I think what happened was we kind of like both were saying one thing but not really explaining, and then it was kind of just one of those things where it was like I said, "Okay, well, I'm not going to resign," and then they were just like, "Okay," you know, it wasn't really like we both like kind of communicated well. And then last year with DGA, first of all, I love everybody at DGA; they're awesome. But then this year, I just reconnected with them, and we talked everything through. We worked everything out, and I think that it's the best decision that I could have made for myself. I think that I throw this plastic better than any plastic. I'm like this feels like home to me. It feels like it's where I'm supposed to be. So
Awesome. Well, so now that we kind of caught up there, and I think I'm hearing Layla, which is fantastic. This isn't a complaint. Is that true? I'm hearing Layla?
yeah,
Just little happy sounds. That's wonderful.
yeah.
Does she crawl? I don't even remember ages now. She scoot around or crawl? Like
Crawls, yeah.
she crawls.
She
Okay.
herself up first before she crawled, and then now she's just constantly wanting to pull herself up.
Okay. Have you let's go back now. More than a week ago, Supreme Flight Open, inaugural event of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And I'll say it this way, you're back, right? In quotes, like you're back. Did it feel that way to you? Did you feel like I'm back? Like when you stepped up to that tee pad, they announced your name. What was the feeling like?
It did, but in a different way. Like I just feel like I'm a different person than I was before. So like it felt like I'm back, but also like a new me is back, you know? So like I don't know, becoming a mom has helped me so much. Like I felt that so much in this tournament where I wasn't nervous at all. I was very calm. I just I knew that if I did good or bad, it didn't matter. Her and Jamie were still going to love me no matter what. So I just stepped up to every hole and I wasn't nervous to mess up or scared. I was just happy to be there, really.
Wow. I'm really resonating with that. I like that a lot. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are enjoying hearing this as well. So do you think then in that scenario, you have the opportunity to play better because of that feeling you're having?
Yeah, definitely. I think that that's what held me back a lot was I would get so nervous, and like the only thing I think of is I'm gonna mess up here, or this if I turn this over, this is gonna happen, or if I release, this is gonna happen. Like every tee shot, that's what I would think of as the worst. And I think that now, like especially last tournament, like I didn't think about that at all. So I think that's definitely changed me. And yeah, I honestly think that having her was the best thing for my disc golf game and for my life. So
Very much win-win. And again, obviously disc golf is a total separate part of what we can do. And obviously Layla's family is super important, but that is awesome to hear both of those together are working well. So take us through then coming down into the final stretch. If you want to say like, you know, the final holes of the tournament, because you were playing, if I'm recollecting, you were in that top 4, top 3. You were going back and forth between there the whole tournament kind of. And then you get down to the last bit of the tournament, round 3. Are you counting yourself in it as maybe I still have a chance coming down to the last few holes?
yeah, so honestly, like it's so weird. It's like the whole weekend I can just visualize myself winning. It was like I could just see myself holding that trophy. I could see, and I just like the whole time playing, like I didn't think there was a single like doubt in my mind that I wasn't going to win. I don't know. I just thought that. So I've never had that feeling before, and I just I think looking back now, the whole round, every putt that I had for par, I made. Every putt I had for birdie, I missed. I don't know why that was like that, and I think if I would have made some of those birdie putts, I think I would have had a chance. I think I would be winning by like one going into the last hole. It kind of like it sucks now looking back at it. It's like, dang, like just those like 20 footers if I would have made those, because I think there was actually coming on 18. I thought Holland was winning by a lot, just by watching the round. And then I looked over at the little board that has our names and our score, and then I saw that Ellen and Holland were tied, and I think Evelina was like one back from it, and I was two back. And I was like, I can eagle this hole. I've done this before. There was more wind, and my radar turned a little bit more, and I was farther away than previous days. And I tried going for it, but I couldn't get up there. So I told myself that I was going to try and go all in and lay up and then get like a third place or something. So looking back at the video, I think I could have made it up there. I don't think I had the right height. So I don't know. It was kind of sad, watching everybody go to a playoff and then you're the only one standing there. But I'm proud of myself.
Absolutely. I think, and we were trying to reach out, and obviously sometimes we get, missed connections, if you will, due to social media and not having phone contacts right away. But we reached out immediately because we're like, we call it on our show, we call it a pop performance, which just means you're playing above maybe what people expected right out of the gate, right? So it was kind of like, maybe in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's a 14th, she could get a 10th place, or you're a strong player, you can get better. But that was like what we considered a pop off. We just wanted to highlight that for sure. And I do think you were in it to win it. I do think the option was there. And that was, again, a storyline that I was playing out in my head as those rounds were starting to come to a conclusion of, if you pulled it off, I mean, that's epic. Josh is kind of like, I don't want to say the archivist on our show, but he's got history. Let me see if I can let me pull this all up real quick. I got to hit a few buttons to do this, but I think I can do it.
No, real quick. Crazy thing is me and my husband got to the tournament Thursday before. So I didn't practice at all. And then I only played 9 holes All-Stars the year before while I was pregnant. So I was like, hey, I might not practice any more tournaments, any more courses. I might just show up and then just say, hey, I'm here.
There is something to be said for that. I've talked about that for a long time about, like, I don't want to say blind playing courses, but sometimes the mentality of like, I don't have negative thoughts about practice rounds and everything, right? Yeah. Josh, I was going to ask you, and I can't remember. Oh, I have Katrina Allen as my pop season overall pick, but I did say MACIE V. This is in my notes. And this is going into the season, MACIE. I said she's outside the top 20 right now as far as like, I guess we'll call it average performance. That's what we do on the show a lot. So your average finish was like somewhere in that 21 range, I think. And I said, I think she's going to sneak into, by the end of the year, an average above top 10. So I think you're going to average. This is my pick. We'll see. You started out good for me, and I'm like, all right, I think I'll get that right. That's what I was bringing you in, Josh. But I'll just throw it over to you, Josh. What do you got?
Yeah, so again, congrats on a strong week in MACIE. And honestly, congrats on growing the family and your mindset. And I want to ask, you kind of already addressed this, but I just want to ask, how did you word it? You said, like, no matter what happens in the round, you're like, Jamie, Layla, right? They still love me, etc. Like, and so it sounds like what you're saying is the mental game which is no surprise, is a major aspect of on-course performance. But you're actually saying that, like, the fact that you have that reassurance off the course is kind of freeing you up from performance on the course. Is that what you're expressing?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, I had her. I had everything that it took to play and to play like at the top level. I just mentally was not there. And I think having her and like, going through like pregnancy and having her and then having to deal with like deciding, am I going to play? Am I not going to get to play? I think that like just having her and being able to still play has like just made me more grateful to be able to even be out there. So it's like, I don't want to be mad or like not just go all out. And I had this opportunity to play.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I do feel truly blessed because I think that I had her at the right time in my life, and I think that God planned this for me, and this is how it's supposed to be. And honestly, after this tournament, I have never been more happy and more blessed in my life.
Well, that is awesome to hear. Yeah, being like where you're supposed to be and who you're meant to be and like who you were created, and obviously growing a family, like that's just I think a lot of people, maybe it's a simple like you sharing kind of your story, but I think a lot of people are going to resonate and appreciate with that. So thank you for being authentic and sharing with us. Truly, it's awesome. So in 2023, so 2 years ago, you had 5 top 7 finishes, and I picked 7 instead of top 10 because that's where it actually like you had those performances. I'm curious, players answer this differently. Are you results goal driven, meaning like do you actually have like performance goals in mind that you're setting, like you want to get a win? Obviously Matt talked about like picking you where you're going to finish from an average standpoint, or are you really just going out there and playing your best and seeing what happens?
I think I'm just going out there, like obviously I want to win, that's
Yep.
the biggest goal, but I think just going out there and playing my best, because I think that even if I lose and get beat, I know that I outplayed my best, So it's like
Yeah.
they outplayed me. I think a lot of times I outplay myself, like a lot of the times. So I think that if I just go out there, play my best, give them my all, that's really just my biggest goal.
That's awesome. So from a skill set on the course, what are you working on in particular? Are there any skills where you're still focusing on trying to improve on, or are things fairly well rounded for you?
I think putting is obviously the biggest thing for me, because it's like one round I can make every putt, the next round I can miss every putt. But I think that's just consistency. You can putt as many times as you want in a basket, but getting out to the tournament and actually doing it is just completely different. And then before this tournament, my forehand was like really bad. I don't know why. And then it clicked for me in the tournament. Thank goodness, because I was really worried about that. But just trying to get more power in my forehands, and consistent backhand approach shots is what I really struggle with.
That's awesome. So as Matt kind of brings us back in, so you talked about, you always plan to grow a family and kind of go on the road, and you seem to be in a really great place right now. So are you planning to hit most of the Pro Tour stops this year? Do you have any planned gaps? And then also curious what your plans are for Europe, if that's in the cards.
So I'm going to play like 7 Pro Tour events. I'm not going to play that many this year, just because she is so young, and
Yeah.
I want to spend time with our family, because I mean, Jamie's mom and my mom, they love Layla so much and us, and I feel like I couldn't take her away from them.
Yeah.
And I just love being home now, since I've been home so much. So, but we're gonna play like 7. I think in the future we'll end up playing more as she gets older. But right now, and we're doing that. And then no, I'm not going to Europe, which I would love to, but I'm not. And then I'm not going to any of the West Coast stuff.
Okay.
So my next tournament is Music City.
Awesome. Well, listen, 2 of us on here are parents of multiple kids, and so we understand and appreciate that whole perspective. And that's why it's just interesting to hear how you're approaching it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one, not because of kids. You're just a better disc golfer than me, but you're doing something that I couldn't do with kids or without kids. So good job. And in fact, what's really fun, Macie, and whether or not Layla likes disc golf and grows to want to throw herself or to be like mom, it's a blast. I have all boys, 4 boys, and I get to watch them play. And honestly, they play better than me, and it is super fun to watch. It's like, oh man, you get to beat your dad.
Show her, like, me and my husband play pickleball, so like she's either at the disc golf course or she's at the pickleball courts. So I'm like, if she don't like these, that's okay, but she's still probably going to end up playing one of them at least.
Probably. Cool. Well, unless there's something that we missed that you'd like to talk about, we've reached the end of the interview. Is there anything we missed? I don't think so. I think our fans will enjoy listening to the authentic, we'll call it a Southern accent, as well as the input. So we appreciate it very much. And being from New England and more, closer to Boston, we can talk wicked fast like that and really turn on the accent, but we appreciate yours. It's a little bit, I'll call it slower in a good way. Like I feel like, relaxed, calm. Let's bring Macie on. It gives us a good vibe. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good time. And Layla,
Yes, thank
hi. Your mom's cool. Peace out. All right. Here we go. Back to everybody else. That was MACIE VELEDIAZ, everybody. Very cool. I don't know the right word. That's a unique interview. We've done hundreds of interviews. That was really cool. Ben, did you feel this vibe of like something happened with her and she's a new disc golfer? Did you get that vibe?
Yeah, it just seems like she's just much more calm now. Maybe I need to have a kid and my rating will shoot up too. Like,
Well, one step at a time. You're about to get married. That might see
Yeah.
like some improvement as you kind of like, fulfill who you're supposed to be, right, Ben? And then after that,
Yep.
grow a family and 1,000 rated Pro Tour. Here you come.
I'm actually getting a dog.
Ooh.
That
So
might
I'm
be
excited
bad
about
for your
that.
rating. No.
I'm excited about my dog that I'm about to get after we get married pretty soon after. So I'm excited
Wow.
about
You're wearing your Groom hoodie.
Yes.
Groom 2025 hoodie.
Next month.
Wow. April 2025. We're not going to disclose the location because you're a celebrity that people want to crash. So we'll keep that private. But I did get invites to a bachelor party, Ben. Are you aware of this? I'm sure you are.
You know what's funny? I'll give the chat the full story.
All right, do it.
So my best man, Nick Carl's cousin,
I love that.
kind of delayed on the planning of the bachelor party. And then so he's like, dude, can you just tell me who you want to invite? So then I was like, whatever, I'll just make my own group chat. So then I added all my groomsmen. And then I'm just like scrolling through my contacts. I was like, is there anyone I want at the bachelor party that's not my groomsmen? And I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling. And I was like, Matt! I was like, that'd be sick to have him at my bachelor party. And then I was like, boom. So then, yeah, it was just kind of like I was just checking over my contacts, and that's how you got the invite. Like, and then we created that group chat.
And it's so
it's
funny.
you and Jake Ruminos are the two that aren't my groomsmen, but are invited to them.
I just played tourney 54 with him. One whole round, and then we were one card separated for the last round. Good dude.
Yeah, so I was just scrolling through my contacts.
That's so
and I was like,
funny. It's privilege and an honor, Ben. I'm very happy and excited to be there. Maybe as excited as you said to invite me. I'm really, anyways, serious. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. Yeah, it'll be a
And
good time.
Pete Collins is invited too, if he can make it up. I'm putting it out there.
Here he comes. Cool. It's going to be, honestly, how do I put this? I think paintball's part of this. I don't want to tell you everything. If you didn't know.
No, I planned it. So
Okay, well,
paintball is part
I
of
haven't done that in a long time, but Ben,
it. Me neither.
you better be freaking ready.
I'm
My
so
nickname
excited.
was Grambo, dude. Like, I played paintball legit. I was like, I'll storm the castle, my dude. So it'll be a good time.
So I haven't played in 5 years, and it's something that I just have always loved playing, even though I've played it twice in my life. But it's just one of those things where it's like, that's so much fun. And I was like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Just paintball, just getting with the boys, shooting at each other with paint. Like, best day ever.
Yeah. So it's there's more than that. We're not going to give away all the exclusives. That's like Patreon level,
Exclusive
like
drops.
25.
We're dropping an exclusive disc at my wedding. So if you're invited,
If you're-
we're actually not. But that I just came up with the idea. Maybe I should. Maybe I should hit up like a company.
If you do though,
to drop.
Matt's just gonna flip it. We're gonna see it on like
Yeah. That'd be
dollar
sick.
auctions like 10 minutes
It's
later.
a little last minute, but that'd be cool.
I don't know why that's just so funny. You're like, we're going to do that. And you're pretty serious. And then you're like, actually, we're not. It's just so funny.
I just randomly thought of it.
Oh, okay. Well, we're almost ready to bring in a Hall of Famer, but we're not quite there. What we will do is enjoy the green room audio of Jay giving us the Yeti. What's that? What would you call that? The
That
Yeti?
was Ben. That was
me.
Ben.
I was calling
What?
calling the Yeti from the green.
That was
That was
Ben?
me.
Ben
Yeah.
and
Okay.
is really
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
we're-
Josh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's just so addicting. It's so like
Josh
I remember at the
is out
expo,
again.
Jay was there, and I think every time I walked by him, I had to let out a Yeti call. It's addicting.
Well, we're gonna have him do a little back-to-back there in just a minute, but right before we get to him, Josh sends a text that says, exclamation marks, internet. It's making me so upset. That's frustrating for him. I know those nights feel long because you're trying to have a good conversation and it just keeps getting cut off. Let's do this in the three or 4 minutes here before we get into educational disc golf conversation. Ben, fun disc golf question for you.
Yep.
What happens, PDGA event, someone is running through a practice shot routine on the tee pad. So like you would, right? You kind of do your warm up. I see you do it. Your elbow goes, your arm kind of throw. Yeah, you're kind of doing your thing. And you whip it 90 degrees right into the tree. Not intentionally, but it was part of your routine. And it just literally flies off, 30 miles an hour right into the tree to the right of you. And you look and you go, oh, that wasn't my throw. Is it your throw? What is the rule there? This happened at Tourney 54 and we worked through it. But what is the rule that you understand it to be?
So this happened before. It's actually it was so
you?
funny with someone on my card. It was so funny because same thing. He was on like hole 11 maple over the big pine trees and he's warming up and just goes literally, but it was like 100 feet, 90 degrees. Like
everyone just staring.
We were like, yeah, sorry, dude. But I think because it wasn't intentional, I think the rule says it did. So we gave him a stroke, but I don't think we should have. I think I learned the rule after. That's what I think, that since it wasn't intentional, that it doesn't count and that he could have went back to the tee. That's what I think is the rule.
So what we're going to do prior to the interview portion, if Jay's ready, I'm going to bring him in. What we're going to do, we'll bring him in for this part. Oh, I thought I hit it. It says Macie. Let me fix that. Sorry, everybody. Did that change? Boom. Okay, I had to hit like 5 buttons and I'm always complaining about the button pushing ever since the intern left, Oh, that's bad.
I'd love to come back, Matt. Please invite me back to your house. I'm ready to eat gummy worms.
I'll give you the controls from remote. But we just brought Jay in and Jay, this is pre-interview. This is pre-educational disc golf. This is you as you've been on the competition committee, all this stuff, and all this time. There he is. Welcome to the show. Did Ben get it right? I think I figured out the answer. Did Ben get it right? He goes, I think we gave him a stroke. Maybe we shouldn't have given him a stroke. What do you do? What do you do in that situation, Jay?
Well, I hate to say it, but I had you guys on mute for that moment. So
okay.
Ben, give me the quick recap.
Here it is. Here it is, Jay. Here it is. And you could have had us on mute. We didn't tell you we're bringing you in for another couple minutes, but somebody is warming up their routine on T-pad, whatever, 5, and they just yank it right and literally releases from their hand 90 degrees into a tree. Whether it's 2 feet or 5 feet, I don't think it matters, but they release it and they go, oh, that wasn't my throw. What's the answer to that, Jay? Per rules of PDGA.
They're warming up.
I can't quite quote it, but I had a similar instance that kind of, I think, helped define this a little bit. So if we go back to the World Championship in Pennsylvania, 2005, I went to go and putt, and I basically had a drop in, and I lifted my disc up off of the ground, and I hit my knee, and my disc dropped, and it rolled just a little bit. Didn't even roll like a length. I gave myself a stroke because I was just I didn't know how to deal with it. It was just wow, I didn't mean to do that, but I guess I had it in my hand and it fell out. So therefore, and this would be similar to what you're talking about. I'm warming up on the tee. I have it in my hand. I'm getting ready to throw. I didn't mean to throw it. So yes, it ended up coming back to me later that I actually didn't have to give myself that stroke because the propulsion of the disc was not meant to be.
Okay, this is interesting. So we're going to bring this in. I actually pulled up the rule now because this happened at a tournament that I was at yesterday. So I'm glad you brought up that scenario, Jay, because I think there is a difference between moving your disc and it dropping from your hand versus, to your point, being thrown. or projected from your hand. Whether it's intentional or not, I don't think matters. What I think matters is, was it propulsion? Was it thrown or was it dropped? I think that's what matters, okay? So someone could say, well, I was moving my hand and I dropped it. But if it's being thrown, it's hard to say that's a drop. So that's maybe a little gray. But here's what it says: a practice throw. Because if you say that wasn't my throw, that was just practice or during my warm-up, that's what this would be considered, a practice throw. It says a practice throw is any throw that is not made as a competitive attempt to change the lie. So you could say this guy that just did that, released it, that was not his competitive attempt. He was just literally warming up. So it says, except for a throw that is made either to set aside an unused disc or to return a disc to a player that travels less than 5 meters, so approximately 15 feet. And then it says a drop is not a practice throw. So you would have to determine, one, you could say, well, then he could say, well, that was an unintentional throw. So we'd say, oh, so you didn't do that on purpose. And they'd say, no. We'd go, okay, the PDGA calls that a practice throw, even if it's not on purpose. And if it's a practice throw, what do you do with that? It says a player receives a 1 penalty throw for making a practice throw. The throw itself is disregarded and not counted. But now here's the fun part of that, Jay, and I want to bring you and Ben into this. So Ben's scenario was that he saw somebody do this as well. They didn't know what quite to do. The TD at our event, shout out Tony Stolo. He says, you guys made a fair call. We ended up saying just throw from your lie. Like, just count it. Because you can also do that. Isn't that correct? So you could just play from your lie as it is and say, that was my throw. Do you agree with that?
Without the penalty, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ben, in that scenario, you guys gave a penalty?
No, he went from his lie.
Oh, he just went from his lie.
Yeah.
You're like, just take it. So the other option would be to say, disregard that altogether, take a 1-stroke penalty, so you threw OB or whatever, and rethrow your tee shot with 3. So you're just going to have to make that decision. Was my practice shot so bad, or should I just re-tee? I don't know. But it was interesting and unfortunate because it's one of those calls where you know it was pure, that shocked face, pure accident. And you're like, do we have to actually add salt to the wound? Someone on our card said, hey, that's definitely a practice throw. And I said, hate to do it, but I have to agree here. That's the rules, so we went with it. But anyways, that was just an interesting rules thing that came up this week. So Jay, here you are. Happy to have you on, man. Even for simple conversations like this. We're going to bring Josh in as well. I think I can do that now. He's back. And then we'll get into discussions around educational disc golf. So let's see if I hit all these buttons right. Live mixing. Here we go.
Hit all the buttons right. And just for what it's worth, I've rebooted my computer twice during this show and so this is like rough. It's been a long day. But
and anyway, you might do it again.
Jay. Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah, I can't tell. We should do a delay test. Josh, I'm going to stop talking and then I'm going to count how long it takes for you to respond.
Well, I can respond.
Oh, that was pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. The delay wasn't too bad. All right, we're good enough to at least give it a go. Jay, welcome to the show again, officially the third time. You had a lot going on. We saw you at the Expos. That's both the East, if you will, and the South. Ben's a crazy maniac. We might see more in the future, but what was that like? And you were there representing, obviously, yourself as a Hall of Famer, you and your wife, but also educational disc golf. So tell us a little bit about that. What's going on?
Yeah. First off, great job, Ben and company. The Expos, my first experience on them, and yeah, they were absolutely fantastic. A lot of exposure, tons of networking, and just to meet and greet fans that maybe we haven't ran across in a while. But it was super cool to have the Edge booth there because what I suspected is, as much as we've been around for 20 years, people are still learning and finding out what the educational disc golf experience actually is and does. So it actually almost equaled each other. We ran into 20 disc golfing teachers at each expo. So that's, 40 disc golfers. Some of them didn't know about Edge, but there was a tremendous amount of inquiry about what Edge actually is and hanging out at the booth. My quick, shout out, like super fun story is the couple, the wife of Trisha and Doug DeLapp. Both of them were teachers. They're brand new COVID players to the game. Doug is an athletic director at Pine Point elementary school, and he already does some elementary style of Frisbee golf. And so we immediately handed him the Edge curriculum at the booth, and we're going to hook him up with some equipment going forward. And then Trisha, who also, she's actually on the Dragonfly Disc Golf Club that played in the big NIFA team championship, I guess. So she got recruited as a newer player and, fulfilling one of the women's spots. But she's a math and science teacher that wanted to start a disc golf club. I'm like, hey, I've got connections here. Thankfully for the PDGA Youth and Education Scholastic Grant. We got her involved with that. She got $500 to start a brand new club. Edge matched it with another $500. Her school kicked in a little bit. And now all of a sudden the school, the PE department has an entire disc golf package, and her club has supporting equipment coming for that too. And that was all just a simple connection at the expo.
Yes, that's what it's all about. Thanks for sharing that story. That's what it's all about. Just networking and hanging out with like-minded individuals.
I think it's pretty cool that you're actually going to take the next step forward, and we're having, what was it called? The Ben's Wedding Expo?
Yes. I'm going to do a wedding expo. Next step forward.
Tickets are online, Ben. It's a surprise. We haven't told you.
Exclusive drop. I love that.
All right, Ben, you're up for this one, dude.
Oh, what?
You're not reading the group chat. Get on it.
Okay, all right. They're putting it on me. But yeah, so obviously Jay Reading, disc golf Hall of Famer, and Des, both are the heads of educational disc golf. So for any of our viewers that don't know what it is, just let them know, Jay, what you got going on.
Yeah, so a 501c3, which is the IRS official tax code for a 100% publicly funded charitable organization. So that means people can donate to Edge. They can actually potentially get a tax deductible donation. We basically, everything that the Edge organization does follows our mission statement. And our mission statement is to perpetuate the great lifetime activity to youth. And we define youth as about third grade, because even though younger kids can get involved with disc golf, third grade's when really all the mechanics happen, and disc golf is a safer activity to do with our actual golf discs all the way through college and collegiate levels. And, so we've developed programming and really inexpensive equipment packages based on our fabulous sponsorships with Innova Champion Discs, Discraft, Prodigy. We've got Zuka Cart, Grip Bag. All of these folks are supporting what Edge does. And it's not only school-based, though. It can be camps, youth groups, church groups, you name it, boys and girls clubs. We love all those organizations that are just trying to better children's lives. And in school, of course, in phys ed, when I used to teach phys ed, and one of my big philosophies was, and I grew up playing, football all the way through college. There was no way that people are going to play football for their entire lives, right? So PE should really be about teaching and installing games and activities that people can do all their entire life to perpetuate a healthy lifestyle. And obviously disc golf is just a home run in many of those categories. So we had a fantastic year last year, and I'd love to share some of that with y'all.
Yeah, that's where I was going to next. The 2024 impact report that you guys put together. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, I think my overall real deep message for everybody tonight is that, we're all experiencing and talking about this pullback of disc golf from the pandemic level explosion, and Edge surely took advantage of that as well. However, Edge is not experiencing this pullback. Disc golf, with 20 years of groundbreaking work and trying to get disc golf into the normal vocabulary of fitness, health professionals, I think we've gotten to this tipping point where folks are seeking us out, and disc golf is a viable solution to a very inexpensive, healthy lifestyle activity. So just last year, we canvassed all of our new programs, and how many kids are actually going to be introduced to disc golf this year by you getting this Edge package? The answer for 2024 was Edge introduced disc golf to over 55,000 brand new kids that had never played disc golf before. So I think that's a huge number all by itself. That equates to nearly 10,000 discs into kids' hands. Our other huge celebration that we had last year, we had the moment of our assisting installing our 300th permanent disc golf course on a school campus, which that's pretty wild all by itself.
Yeah. That's awesome. 300. It's a big number. That's a lot of baskets going in the ground thanks to Edge, and introducing 55,000. I mean, you guys are doing some incredible things for just growing the sport and the youth. So if anyone wants to get involved with Edge, with a club or a school, what do they got to do to get involved?
Yeah, the simplest and easiest and honestly best way to get involved with that doesn't take much from y'all is to seriously send a contribution. Send a financial contribution. You can get on our website right now. There's a link that goes right to PayPal, or you can use your credit card. But you can donate, 10, 25, 50, 100,000 bucks. Let's go. Whatever it takes. That is what the 501c3 means, is that every penny that comes in goes back out.
What's the PayPal? What's the Venmo? What's the way to do that?
Yeah. We'll plug it.
Donations at edgediscgolf.org.
Cling.
This is for PayPal?
That is PayPal.
Okay.
That's the easiest. All the information's on the website if you wanted to send a check in, something like that. Here's another easy way. If those of you that are in the corporate world, almost all the corporations have some kind of a giving program as part of your HR, retirement benefits package. Benevity is a really good one. That's Microsoft, Apple. We actually have a few people from Microsoft that actually Microsoft actually pays Edge for them to do a project with us. And I know that sounds complicated, but it's pretty cool. They fill out some paperwork, and they get okayed to do a certain amount of hours for Edge. And if they put in 5 hours, Microsoft actually sends Edge a check for those 5 hours that they did something for us. And others are matching contributions. So if you work at Kroger or some of these other grocery chains or whatever, just ask your HR professional about what kind of giving program you have, because there's a good chance that you give 100, your business might give another 100, and it's a matching situation. So that's a great, easy way as well. And then I do want to plug our tournament charity program, because I think that is for clubs or individuals that run tournaments. It could be sanctioned, non-sanctioned, but this program's been going on for several years. We had 250 tournament charity program partners last year, and we raised $60,000 from those partners, and we awarded $41,000 in grants, 66 grants to 30 different states. And the other funding in there went to, attend conferences and find these connections with the teachers that we're going to give these grants to. So those programs are all readily available. Anybody can sign up for the tournament charity program. It's a real simple agreement. Just hit us up on the website. You can go you can email me directly. My last name spelled like reading, Reading at edgediscgolf.org. I'll send you a program guide. The real cool thing there is that 100% of the funding that is raised in Tennessee stays right in Tennessee. We have an account for all 50 states.
Wow.
And depending on what kind of pledge you do, whether you do like $1, $2 per player, some people do a dedicated drawing. Some people go to a grocery store with our 501c3 determination letter. They get a $250 free gift card for the charity. They turn around, buy lunch, and then they sell lunch at the tournament and donate that to Edge. Lots of ways you can do that. And depending on the pledge level, again, for 2025, thank you so much to our corporate sponsors within disc golf. Your event can earn a Zuka cart, could earn a grip equipment bag, some CFR discs from all of our great disc manufacturers. Again, Innova Discraft, Prodigy, Gateway's getting involved this year. Hopefully we can get some other manufacturers on board this year. Talk to the MVP guys at the expos. They're super excited to have a conversation here in the new future as well. So this program has just got all the potential in the world to grow another 250 to 1,000 tournaments. Maybe we can get everybody involved at some day. But
I think what you're doing right here can come off sometime, maybe not you specifically, but people will be like, oh, here we are, nonprofits asking for money, da, 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 da. But I think what you're doing here is actually important. It reminds me, it reminds everybody, and I want to reiterate, your tournament can support this in a super easy way that honestly is a win for everybody. I think this reminder is important. It's super easy to add, let me give to Edge. So do that for sure. I will say when my kids were starting into disc golf, they didn't necessarily participate, in a program or an event that you ran, but the discs that were created at a super lightweight that Edge was giving away, I think they were like 105 Leopards. I don't even know if those exist still, Jay. Do you know of any boxes of those?
Yeah, those are really hard to come by. We should go back to that, huh?
And I think it was those, and I think there was also I want to say was it the Wedge?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wedge might have been another one that was super ultra lightweight. But I'm telling you, my 6-year-old son, and I actually was just told this by my 10-year-old son, because he's my 10-year-old world champion, right? But he looks over and he sees his 6-year-old brother and he goes, Dad, Grayson is now throwing that 105 Leopard and Heiser flipping it. And it's a beautiful thing because those lightweight discs, now I'm going off on this whole junior talk, right, for educational disc golf, but those lightweight discs allow you to learn how a disc flies as opposed to trying to make a disc do something that isn't built for you, right? Like the super flex overweight max disc, a kid can learn to throw a paper plate and understand flight. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's my take anyways.
No, you're 100% right though, Matt. I mean, we talk about all the different discs that we're giving away in the TCP and things, but Edge has a single disc that is the Wedge and the Skeeter. Those are our favorites because there are a couple mechanic moves that it takes to all of a sudden have disc golf come alive for you. And the first one is to throw it flat instead of nose up. The second one is to actually learn the Heiser flip. So with a super lightweight golf disc, they can learn the Heiser flip. And all of a sudden, once that little piece of science and physics comes into mind, the rest of those discs all start to make sense when they get into the rating charts and things like that. So we try to keep it simple. All of our Edge programs come with this real nice lightweight all-purpose, right? Because, if Ben gets a Undertaker and Matt gets this Leopard, your learning curves are just, dramatically different. And we want to keep everybody on the same page like that, and you bring up another good point with, is Edge just kind of out here, bantering for some funding and things like that? Well, here's the sad new reality is that 85 to 90% of all of Edge's orders all need some sort of financial aid, or they are not going to happen the way that we are suggesting for the amount of, students that they're serving and, the age groups and things like that. So that's where this program with the TCP, the Disc Golf Pro Tour, you're going to see some great videos all year long with the Community Connect Edge grant program. The Pro Tour has done an amazing job of wanting to leave something behind when the circus goes away. And so Edge is tasked of finding a great program at every single stop, and we get to grant them 100% free, a package that's going to help suit their needs. So really stoked about that as well.
Absolutely. And by the way, we did not just throw Josh away and he didn't run away because Jay came on the show. He prefaced it by his internet. I think he joined 3 or 4 times, and he joined this last time in the green room, and I'm like, it's not even worth it. I can see your camera's on fire. Like, just don't come back tonight. So that's what happened there. That's what happened there. And by the way, that's what happened intermittently throughout the whole show. So I'm talking a lot, and I'm known for talking a lot. I get that. But tonight I was even talking a lot more because I didn't know who was in our show even. Okay, so, but that's true, dude. I think you said it so much more eloquently, everything you said tonight. But the way you even described the lightweight disc and its purpose and learning flight, and how once you can learn that, like you said, the science in your brain, I've seen it with all 4 of my kids now. If you give them an overstable disc, they throw it as hard as they can, and they just learn that it just hyzer. They can just figure that shot out, but they can't understand necessarily flight until they get, I feel like, the lightweight. And I think, is this true, Jay, in your opinion, for even an amateur coming into the sport? Like, if you can give them the flippiest disc possible and they can learn how to throw that, like actually learn how to throw it, that's probably better for them in the long run to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. What we tell the teachers are, hey, especially at the high school level, you're going to get a handful of kids that are like, whoa, we're doing disc golf. Man, can I bring in my whole bag and, use that as well? And I'm like, I really discourage that. I know that most of the players, they'll grab this edge disc and they'll feel the lightweight right off the bat. And they're just like, or they'll give it a big rip and it'll roll right over. And they're like, this is trash. And that's where I tell them, like, hey, this is where you have a real teachable moment here, where disc golf is all about 2 things: timing and technique. And so if we get that high school player that's got all this arm speed built up and can wrestle these big pro models, if we can actually get them to slow down and learn how to time the edge type of a disc, you can get those discs to fly 300 feet. They are not trash at all. It's just that you're putting trash into the disc. Trash in,
I like
trash
that.
out.
I like that. And actually, like, so because I ended up, Innova at some point had shipped me, I want to say like 100 of those discs, because we were doing that kids disc golf thing for a while, and we were giving those away at all of our tournaments, and people came back, hey, you got more of those. They love them, right? Because kids could learn easy. They could throw farther quicker. But because we had those at some of the events, I would try to throw those things as far as I could. Now, a 105 Leopard, like DX Leopard, it is hard to, like, if you're not used to it, it's hard. But I did love the challenge, to your point. Learn how to throw it. It's not like that's a skill you shouldn't have. It's a skill, honestly, you should learn how to throw a flippy disc and understand flight. So I love that perspective as well. Throwing trash. Oh, that's pretty funny. So did we miss anything? We did put out there, and sometimes our audience goes ahead and donates even during live. So we gave that out. Hopefully that can happen, but they can also ask for it at their tournaments, and they can also just donate through many other ways, as you already mentioned. I don't need to reiterate all of them, but is there anything else that we missed that would be helpful for you to talk about before we let you go?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll challenge your listeners even more. We'll let it go for this week, because I know a lot of people listen to this podcast on Wednesday, Thursday, leading up to the events here. But I'm going to go through all the donations that come in this week, and I'm going to do 3 Edge CFR packages for some of the donators. So I'll follow up and text you guys. You can shout out maybe some of your listeners' names there, but anybody that wants to donate will be up for a couple Edge CFR type of discs. And we're just really excited about the momentum that's being built up here. We're going to give the PDGA a good proper due here as well. The Youth and Education Scholastic Grant Program that just got off the ground last year, in which Edge has a seat at the committee table. And I can tell you, we're really starting to find a lot of folks out there that are PDGA members, right, and have numbers, and they have some affiliation to a youth club. And now all of a sudden, these clubs usually have $0 attached to them, unless they're coming from a STEM group, which is integrating math and science into the after-school program, which disc golf actually does. We have to kind of, it's hard to equate that, because they're like, well, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
And it's like I tell everybody, you draw the Pythagorean theory and you start showing them how people throw around light poles and things, and that absolutely qualifies, especially the hyzer flip. I mean, all of that. for sure. So
Well,
I
the first,
appreciate
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
go
the
ahead.
first time I saw a hyzer flip, I think I've told a lot of people this. First time I saw a hyzer flip, I literally thought it was like magic. I remember like the first time I saw I had maybe started for a few months, and then I went to a course and I saw somebody throw a hyzer flip, and my brain did this double take. Like I saw it come out on an angle, and somehow, miraculously, luckily, right? Like he was a luck shot. It went up flat and it just rode out. So like, it is cool. I think it is science. It is something, you know, kids can grasp onto it, and STEM is definitely part of that. Josh is back. Josh, we were just about to let him go. Is there anything we missed?
I mean, I caught most of it. And by the way, literally in that time, Jay, I went on my storage room shelves, pulled out an Ethernet cable, ran it across my house, have reinstalled. So that's what I did while I listened to you streaming. Nothing to add by way of question, just to say literally thank you. Matt and I did a different kind of work. We were not doing what you're doing with Edge, but focused on youth. And it can be a lot of work. It obviously has a lot of rewards, but you and Des and obviously many others behind that as well have pushed for years. And it's really cool. So thank you for that. Keep up the good work, and it's awesome.
One more time, Jay. Donations at what? We have the chat asking again.
Yes, donations at edgediscgolf.org.
All right, got it. I'm putting it in.
Remember
there.
the org. Org is super important. Otherwise, it goes to somebody in overseas somewhere. So
They're like,
.org.
Thank you very much. Why does everybody have disc golf in their username?
But thank you so much for the platform, guys. I mean, we love to cover the big boys and the big girls on the pro tour. And I tell you what, we just had one of these videos that we did with a school that we granted, and the teacher it was the one that came right out and said, like, who knows, someday soon we're going to see one of these kids in my club on the pro tour and on TV. And little did he know, some of them are already out there. Kids, some of the players have been doing disc golf since they were very, very young. And I think the groundswell is just happening. I see it in front of us, guys. The tipping point's there. I can't believe it's taken 20 years for us to start to say this. But literally, I think this pushback from the pandemic is opening our eyes to, like, you know what? We're not a fly-by-night activity or sport. We need to build a foundation. A solid pyramid is always on a solid foundation, and that is youth and sports and schools. They come back, and the new crop comes in every single year. So I'll keep talking and talking and talking to all the manufacturers, everybody I can. Y'all want new prospective clients and purchasers of your products. Start them young. Change the world. Teach a kid to putt.
It's true. We need all perspectives, and my wife tells me we need all kinds of people, because like the reality is, if it was all me, no good. If it's all Ben, it'd be exciting, but probably I don't know what would happen. But like the point is, I appreciate so much what you're doing right now. You are needed, and you're going to experience the rewards of that, watching players continue to come into the sport at this young level, and you had a hand in that. So appreciate it. Everybody get out there and support Edge for sure. And it's always great, Jay, to have you on. Obviously, even more than just the fact that, oh, you're a Hall of Famer, oh, you're a guy that can do this cool Yeti call, or you've won a few putting championships back in the day. Like,
More
really,
than
it's
that,
cool.
won a lot of things. It's awesome to have him.
Yeah, so I don't want that to go by. You are a legend. We appreciate having you on. Anytime, reach out. I've got your cell phone now. I just slowly collect cell phone numbers, so we'll reach out again another time. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right, cheers, guys.
Peace out. All right, now there it was. Perfect.
The Ben echo back.
Right. Oh.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
all right.
Matt
This is
Graham
kinda
here.
trippy.
A lot of live changing up things tonight. So.
Well, thanks for your patience for me. What I told Jay that literally happened. Like right now, I have wires strung all through my house. Probably something I should have done before. It's a mess, but
You're coming through so clear now.
Yeah, I think I'm getting like 1,000 megabyte upload.
This needs to be the new standard. You look crystal.
It will be, but
crispy
I can't
clear.
leave. I know, but I can't leave the wire strewn. Like it looks like somebody exploded a spool of wire all over my house.
Where's that spool of Ethernet, honey? I know it's here somewhere.
I literally was looking for a while, and I almost asked, and then I found it in a bin on a storage shelf next to a bunch of discs.
There you go. All right. So
enough of that.
This was a little bit of an off week, but only for a specific reason, that there wasn't a PDGA sanctioned tour event.
Sanctioned being the keyword.
Ooh, yeah, PDGA sanctioned. So first of all, kind of unique. I don't hate it. Like, in the sense of, like, I always thought, someone could go off and do their own thing as long as the players showed up. So I don't hate it. Is it good for disc golf? Go Throw Tour. Sure. More disc golf, I think, is generally better. The only time I might say, no, I think it's better no matter what. Even if I thought it was competing, even if I thought it was negative towards another, let's say the Disc Golf Pro Tour or somebody else, unless there's some weird cheating or scam going on, then I think it's great for the disc golf. So, like, I'm happy to see Go Throw. And I think they're giving it their all. They've got production. They've got players that are coming out, I will say. People online are feeling like it was a pretty light attended event as far as tour players go, and it was. You got to start somewhere. Very muddy.
Yeah, I think
event.
it'll be interesting to see what happens with a few more of the events. I think players are happy to play it, but only if it meets their like kind of tour flow. And what we saw is quite a few players went home or went somewhere else in between Florida and Waco. And I think a lot of players feel like Waco's kicking off their real tour, at least as far as travel goes. And so you definitely saw some players who were already on the road there, which is a good sign for that tour. And then I think when more players get on the actual like legit tour grind, why would they not stop and play an event as long as it's run well? And I don't think we've heard a lot of reports out of the event, but players played it and players probably had a good time. So Matt, like you said, I think it's probably good. To be like super picky, I hope they iron out any wrinkles, just because as a fan, I know we could check out UDisc, which was fine, but like the website's still a little bit difficult to navigate. It's not the easiest to like consume. But again, like you said, like, okay, what's it trying to accomplish? It's not trying to be the Pro Tour. And if it's a filler gap and then we get post-produced media, awesome. So like, I hope it's successful and actually continues to grow, but I also have a lot of things that I'd like to see it do. But it's easy to sit on this side of the fence and wish they did more.
Yeah, it's one of those things I haven't fully processed. I was talking to Nick during the league round tonight when I was just walking with him, and I was like, man, like, we don't have to have a take on this, but like, how do we just generally feel? And just full transparency, I've always kind of had this feeling of like, we want the Disc Golf Pro Tour to be so successful. If this was an attempt at like offering an alternative, so like, hey, we want people to come from the Disc Golf Pro, like, I don't think that's the case, but like, I would feel negative in that sense. But in this case, I don't feel like there's any of that there. I feel like this is a genuine attempt at more disc golf opportunity, to your point, Josh. I do think things would need to grow for it to continue to be successful, though, to your point, but this is the first one. People want to critique it so hard. And when I say people, for instance, Go Throw releases the YouTube coverage, and I don't have the full details here, like exact details, but they put it under a member pay option out of the gate. Now, I don't know if that was for 2 hours or 4 hours, or if it was just a premiere type thing.
Yeah, it was just a small window of time from what.
But there was some level of, hey, if you pay, you get it before everybody else. That's all I can say it that much.
Mm-hmm.
I know of at least one person, not personally, online, who paid and then found out it was free like 2 hours later. It's like, oops.
So right, so like something like that, like the Innova disc thing, like where it's like, right, get it now. Oh, yeah. Okay, but I'm bringing that up partially because I find that. I don't care. I think cool that you should try to monetize whatever your product is worth. And I think that is worth something. But what I find ironic, it's probably the same people who week in and week out bash DGN and the Disc Golf Pro Tour because of their product being behind a paywall. They were super rah-rah cheerleader, shish boom ba. Did I get that right? Like, Go Throw is for the people. Like, they're just going to have YouTube coverage Everything's great. Woohoo, we're back to UDisc, everybody. We're going back to all the things that we wanted. And then they're the first people who are like, oh, I'm out. They did a member paywall. Like, I'm out. And I'm thinking, are we the cheapest people, or do you really have a solid take as to why they shouldn't charge for a product that has value? You know, so like, I think people need to relax about things being behind paywalls. You might have an idea about it, but at the end of the day, if you have a product that has value, you believe it has value, then do it. And if you think you have a better product, for instance, GoThrow maybe wanting to do a better product, everyone should do the product that they think, and people should support or not support it financially if you don't like it. That's the end of it. Don't call it a bad product. It's just not what you want. Like, I don't like coffee. I don't think it's a bad product, though. I just don't like it.
Me neither.
Like, really, Ben?
Why I don't like it.
Nice.
So sad.
I like the smell of it, though. I'll support the smell of it. I'll
I
pay.
want to drink it, but I can't.
You can't, or you don't like it?
Don't like it. Same with beer. I want to drink it, but it's gross. It's literally so gross.
We're very similar. Do you like soda or energy drinks, though?
I like soda.
Okay.
That's my one weakness.
Okay. So you and me can have a soda at your bachelor party. How about that? Party all night long. Okay. He's like, that doesn't sound fun. Why did I invite Matt? Oh, he's muted.
With soda. What?
Oh, no, you're not muted.
Oh, with soda, we're going to party all night long.
Okay, cool. Anyways, that was like half rant. Just because I get sick of seeing like complaints. I mean, people complain about our channel all the time too. I just tune it out now. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say I have to always remind myself that what you see on social media is one genre of feedback, and there's a lot
true.
more than that. It's not that you dismiss it; it's just you put it in its like proper place, right? Which is like, okay, like that's fine. There's people who have that perspective, because the same people. And by the way, I actually don't have a name in mind, so I'm kind of like stereotyping what I felt like I saw. The same people who are going to rip in, you said this similarly, Matt, but I'm talking about other things, about the quality of DGN coverage, or the fact they can't find information, and, you know, the whatever their complaint list are. Sometimes the same people will have grace for, you know, some other channel and how they're pumping it out, and then flip the script. Some people who are incredibly patient with the Pro Tour and DGN with some of their challenges, you know, are bashing like the Go Throw Tour, and it's like, you just have to put it in perspective and think of the big picture rather than the micro, like who's complaining. It's like, oh, 18 people complained? Like, okay. Like, that's fine. So again, that's why I say hopefully they have a successful tour. And of course, like, there could be some interesting things that unfold from that. Like you said, like, could there be competition in the future? Maybe. But that would be like fun and reasonable explanation that's probably good for the sport. Like, we could speculate and have fun with it. But yeah, anyway, I do hope constructive criticism is that it would be even easier to follow their tour. Like, that would be cool, even for us, right? Like, what's the payouts? Who's winning? What's the tour points? And by the way, if they're not wanting to do any of that, then make that clear, right? It's just a little bit hard to get like cohesive information on a tour. And by the way, they don't owe that to me. I'm just saying, if they're going to have a tour and talk about it, it would be awesome to see all that. Like, I would actually like to see it.
Yeah, so there is something that is probably worth mentioning at the very least. And again, I wish I would have pulled up the details on this, but at least mentioning it, maybe one of you know about it. They can earn points. And right now, if you go to their website and you do navigate a little bit, you can find there's a points that are being awarded for events. But my understanding is there's
based on
also
in-event stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also points like, hey, you threw an albatross, or even non-disc golf. I shared a social media post of Go Throw.
Yeah, it's kind
of get 50 points. So it's gamifying disc golf.
Yeah,
tour.
it's cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, like, it's kind of funny, but this is what I'm saying. I hope they're successful, because then they can try a lot of things like this that can be like fun. Like, there can literally be a supplemental tour. And that's why I'm saying I hope that they step up their game to execute. Because Matt, that sounds awesome. But how many points have been given out for those things?
We don't know.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's cool ideas. And by the way, like, Matt, we've done stuff in the disc golf world in numerous ways, and you have too, Ben. Like, it's hard to execute on every good idea. So, like, I also have a lot of grace for them. But there is something to be said for, you got to at least execute the bare minimum, right, to meet a certain standard. I don't know if they're doing that yet. I don't actually like.
Maybe we can try to get Luke on. Maybe we can try. See what happens.
Good point.
Really fun ideas, though. Like, fun ideas, and they did have some players there. And like we said, maybe it was a perfect kind of introduction event between the first two, and then maybe we'll see a couple really ramp up this year, you know?
So what will be interesting is, and I heard somebody or saw somebody say, hey, is this the new like silver series on tour? Like that's not on tour. Yeah. And I don't know. But they're having a tournament. Johnny Disc Golf pointed this out, although I'm aware of it looking earlier, but I'm commenting now because of his comment. Go Throw is having a tournament at Persimmon Ridge, Arkansas, the same weekend as Jonesboro Open. So Jonesboro Open
is not on tour.
It's not on tour.
On the Pro Tour this year.
So it would be interesting to see just in general if anybody's like, I don't want to say loyal, but like, hey, I still want to go play Jonesboro. I really liked it. Or are they going to choose Persimmon? Is it based purely on payouts? There's a lot that goes into people picking and choosing, but interesting. We'll see how this tour works out in the first year. We talked through a fair amount. I think we already mentioned, but Kristen is going to rejoin. Well, asterisks. Go ahead, Josh.
No, well, okay, because I was bouncing in and out and waiting for things to load, multitasking, I saw Kristen had a practice round at Waco.
There you go. Our picks are locked unless she drops out for another reason. But she's back, and so I guess when I say she's back, the coolest thing about this is we have a competitor in the sport, an FPO player, who we're like, she's back. And not because like she was injured or anything, but like she's here. There's something to be said for that because I don't want to say any names, but you could pick an FPO player that we didn't say that about this year, right? We were like, she's back. So I think there's something really weighted behind her. She's 1,000 rated FPO player. She has this story. It's mean a little bit, or is it flattering to compare her to Macbeth in a lot of ways in the way she's moving the FPO needle, right? Like she's kind of laying out that foundation. And again, is it flattering? Probably. I hope so. That's how I mean it. Setting the stage and just really driving that forward in such a way that there's an FPO player that is going to have a legacy if she continues on at the same pace she's been continuing on. And I think I'm excited just to see, because the storyline could go either way. It could. And all of a sudden somebody else starts writing that story, and then we'd have another storyline. So no matter which way it goes, we all know I think it would be more exciting to have people beating Kristen regularly, or at least being very close. But I'm excited for Kristen's legacy regardless.
Yeah. You know who else is back who does have a legacy? Katrina Allen is in the field this weekend. So that'll be interesting to see. Katrina has been a very successful disc golfer, right? Competing in literally, right, for world championships and, often for many years, right? One of the two potential players to win. And then we've seen her face different kinds of challenges, sponsor switch ups, and then also having a baby. And doesn't that make you just wonder a little bit when you see Macie's mindset shift? I wonder if there's anything that's unique to an individual. So there's no way I could just automatically apply that to Katrina, but I'm curious. I wonder if there's any mental shift of what she's trying to accomplish. And if that kind of, mental game has any impact on her on-course performance. I don't think we know a lot about, she's talked some about practicing and ramping up, but I just don't know what to expect. But it's always fun to see somebody re-enter the field like that with a different legacy than Kristen's by far, but still, right? She'll always be mentioned as one of the top FPO players. So it's kind of cool.
She's my season-long pop. I don't know if it was the best, but I feel like there's a chance for it to be okay.
Out.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
I'm excited about that as well. Ben, you've had extremely long day. I've had extremely long weekend. I'm talking one of the longest. Same for you. I know.
Yes.
Josh, it was a busy work day. He rushed in
and again tomorrow.
I wanted to do something, and maybe we can do this when we hang up the call and people have kind of an inception thing if they listen to this point in the show and they hear me talking about this. But when we end this, I would like to do some sort of quick intro with us. It won't be live tonight, guys. This will be the ending. Then we'll record a quick intro to let everyone know about some of the tech stuff, which will go into the post-produced audio version. So anyways, getting all that behind the scenes stuff out.
Perfect.
Wow. The disc golf season's here. We're one event down. We got a lot left. But it's going to go by so quick. We're going to be 15 events in, we'll be like, holy cow, we've got 5 events left or whatever. Ben will be a married man, and the world will be a different and better place, hopefully. But Pop Drop Lock, as a reminder,
Go play it.
you are not out of the season-long standings opportunity yet. It's tracking that way, like where you have an event, but if you have a couple good events, you move right up that leaderboard. And the season-long winner, shout out to Simon Lazat, will play around with us at Maple Hill, you included. So get in. It's not too late. Literally, I think not too late by a long shot. PopDropLock.com. You can win weekly prizes, so there's that, but also your season cumulative gives you a chance at around Simon. So get in on that. It's easy, it's free. And then, as a reminder, TitanDiscGolf.com. My voice just cracked. It's been a long weekend. Free shipping over $75, 35,000 plus discs. Get the discs that you can't find anywhere else. Competitive pricing, and we really appreciate their support. You might see Nick Carl walking around with one of these hats on now, Josh. I just got it to him today. Josh and I sporting it. We love TitanDiscGolf.com for their support for us. Presenting Staggered Stance, epic. Please go support them. I see people comment and tag us with that. Let them know. Use the code Staggered Stance, get a percentage off. It really lets them know it's valuable what they did here. So thank you guys very much for considering that. As fans of the show, Ben, have anything to say?
Thank you all for watching. You are all legends. We love our staggies. And comment below something nice
All right.
about what you did today.
What you did today. Appreciate it, everybody. Until next time, we'll catch you out there. Peace out, everybody.